Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Sierra. I like to talk about books and the writing process here on this channel. So it's been a while since I put up a video. There's been some things going on. Kind of had a flood. Kind of lost the carpet. Kind of lost the layout of where my bookshelves used to be. And then I kind of got strep. So it's been a whirlwind. So just bear with me. And I have a slight cough too. So if I cough at any time during this video, that's also what's been going on lately. But anyway, last time on this channel, I either did the video of me ranting about book genres and doing my makeup, or it was the video about Blood at the Root. I can't remember which one. It'll be somewhere. I'll have both videos at the end. If you like any of those videos, you want to check them out, go ahead. Until further ado, let's move on. In this video, we're going to do some bookshelf tours. I kind of reorganized them, and I should have filmed that part, but I didn't. So we're just going to go from there of my bookshelves. You can probably only see maybe like 1, 2, 3, 4 shelves, possibly, but we'll get there. We're going to start with the first 3 shelves. I had to tilt the camera up a little bit, so that's why it kind of looks a little wonky now. Hopefully you can see me. I'm not that tall. We're going to start with my top shelf. So my top shelf are all of my, well, some, obviously it's going to be a lot. Some of my thriller novels and a few of like my horror elements. So like my first thriller author that I really got into like about 2 years ago was Lucy Foley. So I have The Guest List and The Paris Apartment. Both are really, really good books. I highly recommend them. Her stories are very like medium to fast paced, in my opinion, and the characters are very interesting. There's a lot of different POVs, especially in The Paris Apartment. It was very intriguing on what actually happened to the brother. I was so confused. I am obviously obsessed with Shari LaPena, so I'm going to recommend her as well. Her books are also about medium to fast-paced thrillers, and they're always like more encompassing family dynamics. So like with the end of her and just the dynamics of the relationship and people outside of the relationship, and who the end of her really is, who the her is at the end of it. Oops. So that's something that if you all like really like thriller, more of like the domestic thriller type of mystery stories, then that Shari LaPena is definitely a really good author to read. I just read Darling Girls by Sally Hepworth. I highly recommend it. Oh god, it was so good. It was so good. The twist at the ending though. I'm gonna do a separate video on that. That book was in my stack for my summer reads. I read The Change, another great book. I read Bad Man, which is phenomenal to me. I read this about two, maybe 3 years ago. And it has to deal with the main character's missing brother at a grocery store. And so he goes up there to try to figure out, what happened to his brother. His parents, blamed him for losing his brother. And there's just a lot of creepy stuff going on in that grocery store. A lot of creepy stuff with just the neighborhood too as well. It's all very weird, but it was so good. So I'm not gonna have to go through each individual book. So we're just gonna move this along. I have some more at the very end of it. Some of these are actually on my summer reading list. I just put them all up here on the shelf because I just wanted to make my bookshelves look very nice. So it would be My Sweet Girl, Sometimes I Lie, and No One Can Know. Those are actually on my list for the rest of the summer, so hopefully I get to those by August. And then just a few more that I haven't read. I haven't read Ancient Nine or Last Seen Alive, Yesterday, We Were Never Here, or Flicker in the Dark, but I read The Shadows, The Maidens, and She Started It. But that's it for the first shelf. Alright, second shelf. I am going to probably take a little bit more time with this one, but this one is the magic shelf. All of my books with magic in it, so fantasy in the way I can read. the fantasy that I like. Okay, more of like a magical realism, and some really interesting ones that have a different take on magic. So first we have We Are the Origin and We Are Dying Gods. I just bought these two after reading Children of Blood and Bone. I was like, I really want to read more mythical books of like African mythology with black characters that have magic that are just super cool and badass. And so I actually follow the author on YouTube. Ooh, I'm taking a lot of deep breaths because I cannot hardly read right now. But I follow the author on YouTube for the Melanin Library. I follow the podcast. So I just watch the videos of the podcast because I listen to many books on Audible to be listening to podcasts too. So I mainly just follow her page on YouTube, and she talks to a lot of different authors about their different stories in the traditional publishing challenges, indie publishing, and just talking to different authors, their experiences. And she talks about her experiences with writing and publishing as well. And so when I heard her talk about her books, I was like, Chelsea, I'm very interested. I had to get them. So obviously Beasts of Prey and Beasts of Ruin. I do not have the third one because I read it on Audible, but I will buy that, obviously, to complete the trilogy. I read Children of Blood and Bone. I also have the other books. They'll be coming. Trust me, they will be there. Year of Witching, The Future Witches, The Graces, Blood at the Roots, Discovery of Witches, The Lost Apothecary, Wicked, because I love to play Wicked. So when I went to the thrift store, I had to buy it. Duh. Inkblood Sister Scribe, which is a different kind of magic. It's more of like there's magic in the books. You're like actually in the books in the book. So I thought that was very interesting. Mexican Gothic. I know it's more of like a horror story, like a horror, but it's more like has some fantasy based in it to me. Like, Ghost, obviously, it's a little bit different. So it obviously fits on the shelf. Wayward is a little bit different too. Now, in the sense of like fighting and defeating creatures and gods and everything like that, but there's like a huge connection to Earth that is like very powerful, and I really loved it. So obviously you had to fit up here. Same thing with Wilder Women. It's very interesting. I'm still trying to navigate the transformation of the characters. If you're ready, you understand. And then there's Little Eve. I just bought that one. Yeah, it's about a cult, so I know this is going to be really good. Oh, I forgot to mention, also on the shelf is my wand. I need to plug it up and charge it, but it actually works. My boyfriend made it for me. He has a 3D printer and he did all of the mechanics in it, and it's a replica of one of the wands from Harry Potter, and it actually does the spells, a few of the spells from Harry Potter. It's really cool. I'll have to demonstrate that in a separate video. And then I have my little Wicked hat that he also 3D printed for me. It's really cute. Let's see it. It was one of my first gifts. But yeah, it has to go on the shelf, obviously. Anyway, we're going to move on to the last shelf that you can see. And then I'll have to pan the camera down. But the next shelf is more thrillers and mysteries, because I love me a thriller and I love me a mystery. So I have like my Alexa Dunn, Pretty Dead Queens, The Stranger Upstairs, Sing Unburied Sing, The Wife Upstairs. I love The Family Game by Catherine Steadman. It's absolutely amazing. I say it's amazing. I've heard some mixed reviews, but I thought it was really good. The twist, oh god. Some more here. Obviously gotta have some Ruth Ware because she's iconic. That's literally like the OG of thriller and mystery. The Writing Retreat, which I'm gonna do a separate video on as well. Excuse me, guys. Behind Her Eyes, These Violent Delights. I feel like it could go in the fantasy area, but I didn't have enough space. As you can see, it's already full. So there's gonna be some adjustments later down the road. Firstborn, a few that I haven't read. Magpie Murders, The Woman in the Widow. I haven't read it. But that's it for that shelf. As you can see, I was not kidding about carpet being ripped out. This is literally just concrete down here. It's great. The next shelf is more mystery and thriller. I'm not going to bore you all. There's some more Shari LaPena. She couldn't fit up there, so I had to separate the paperbacks a little bit, you know. Catherine Steadman. I have all of my Lisa Jewell books because I love her books. These books are really, really good. I have some All the Missing Girls by Megan Miranda. I think I started it before. I just never finished it. So this is my way of putting it out there to finish it. Holding myself accountable. I have Alan Wake. So if anybody who has played the video game, play the video game Alan Wake or Alan Wake 2. I have the book. It was a birthday gift. It's not that. It's pretty decent as a book, to be quite honest. And it was interesting. I mean, obviously, because since Alan Wake is a writer, they were gonna make a book of the video game. So I guess it does make sense. I have In My Dreams I Hold a Knife. You're Invited by Amanda. I don't even want to try to pronounce it. Amanda. I'm gonna mess this up. I'm just gonna skip it. But it's a really good book. Velvet at the Wind, Sylvia Moreno Garcia. I got this at the train line. So when I was getting on the train, I needed to get a book, obviously, to read on the train. So I picked it up. It's actually pretty good, pretty decent. Next shelf are all my children's books that I read so far. This one does not go here. I'll have to move that later. And then the haunted book, obviously. I gotta move that one. But down here, I have like Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. So good. But my ultimate favorite one when I was younger was But Not Buddy. I absolutely love this book. Absolutely. I have some Esperanza Rising. I have Harry Potter. Three more books from Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. And I have a Dear America diary book. And so I really just want to start collecting more of the books that I read when I was younger, whenever I can find them, because I am not paying full price for that. But that is it for that shelf. And down here on the bottom shelf is some more like mystery thrillers. So I have like The London Seance Society, which is another really good book that I read. Absolutely loved it. By Sarah Penner. I think that was my second Sarah Penner book. Yes, my second one, because I have The Lost Apothecary all the way up there. I'm losing my breath a bit. The Return, that is also on my summer reading list. So a lot of them, I just put them back on the bookshelf just so I can have really pretty bookshelves. And then I just have some more. Before I have another Lisa Foley book. I have The Hunting Party I haven't read. Daisy Jones and the Six. I didn't know where to put it. It's not a romance, so it can't go in my romance section. I guess I don't want to put it in romance because it's a very dynamic, psychologically interesting story. So I feel like it doesn't really fit in the romance section, but it's still a really good book. So I had to go on the shelf somewhere, obviously. And then I have a really odd one. I don't know if anyone has ever heard of it or read it, but it's Skin by Ted Dekker. I saw this at a Goodwill, and it sounded good, and I liked the cover, and this kind of like extra effect on the like on the cover. So it's like the letter kind of comes out a little bit. I don't know. That stuff was interesting. So if anyone has read it or heard of it, drop it in the comments, please, if you know how you felt about the book. Jesus Christ. My cousin is playing with toys upstairs on the hardwood floor, so if you can hear it, sorry. Anyway, this is my romance section. So I don't have that many romance books. I read more romance books on my Kindle, but they're not necessarily romance that's on my Kindle, so we're not going to talk about that. But I do have, off in the very small corner over here, I do have A Walk to Remember, because the book and the movie both make me cry, and I love it. I have Talia Hibbert. I have Get a Life, Chloe Brown, and I have Take a Hint, Danny Brown. But I read the third Brown sister on my Kindle, so that's where it is, and that's where I have to buy another one. More shopping. I have Fangirl. I haven't read it yet. A few more that I haven't read as of yet because I've been in a romance slump. Just haven't really been in the mood to read romance. I mean, I tried with Twisted Love. It did not go well. I mean, the twist and the mystery part of it was really good. It would have been really good without the romance. That's just my opinion. I haven't read Modern Lovers. I read Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute, obviously, because I love Talia Hibbert. I read all of Jenny Han's books. So To All the Boys I Loved Before, P.S. I Still Love You, and Always and Forever Lara Jean. I read those back when, before the first movie came out, so probably it's been 3-4 years now. Jesus Christ, that was a long time ago. Wanna Watch, I read about 3 years ago. It's really good. I really liked it. The Kiss Quotient was pretty good. Haven't read That Summer yet. Haven't read Two Lives of Lydia Bird. But my favorite book out of this entire shelf is Yinka, Where Is Your Husband? Highly recommend it. Highly recommend it for anybody, really. Especially for us Black people who want to read a little lighthearted romance. Especially those who are more connected to their African descent, or have came over from Africa. Yeah, there's a lot going on in here of just the expectations and the culture of what they expect Yinka to be, to be married, what she's supposed to look like, what she's supposed to act like. A lot of those influences and expectations are put on her a lot in this book, but it's really good. I really liked it. One that is technically not a romance. I don't think it was a romance. I forgot what I did with the book cover, with the dust cover sleeve thing. But anyway, I found none other than Snooki's book at a Goodwill. So I had to buy it because I love Jersey Shore. I love it. Absolutely love it. So I had to get it because, I mean, who wouldn't? If you watch Jersey Shore and you had no idea she wrote a book, apparently she wrote one, or at least ghost wrote one. I don't know, or at least had a ghost writer. I can't form words correctly right now, but I mean, hey. There's another one that was really good called Girl with Stars in Her Eyes. It's a little hard to get off the shelf, by Joe Zio? I think it's just pronounced Zio. It's Xio, and last name is Axelrod. I probably can't pronounce anything right now that well anyway, dealing with what's going on in my, sinuses and everything like that. Next is more of my YA shelf. So I have The Ravens, The Perks of Being a Wallflower, because I really love the movie and the book is really good and I cry every single time. So I have to have it, obviously. Cemetery Boys, Conjured is really good. Conjured is really good. It's very much like magic in a teenage girl, but also there's a circus involved. It's very interesting, and I really want it to be made into a movie. If you ever heard of this book, let's go and pull it up. If you ever heard of this book or actually read this book, I think this would be a freaking amazing movie. For kids to watch. I feel like this would be a really good one. Everyone should check. I feel like you should check that out, especially if you just more an odd type of storyline that has magic kind of related in it, but it's not like fantasy. So if you like something that's a little bit off the genre type of thing, I think you'll like it. I like it a lot. Cinderella is Dead. I heard a lot of mixed reviews. I actually liked it. We're just gonna move on from that. One Dark Throne and Three Dark Crowns. I read book 1. I'm so disappointed, but I have the second one, so I'm gonna read it eventually. Spindlefire was my first introduction into fairies and fae, and I realized I do not like fairies and fae, but I am keeping the book because at least I tried it. I have Tempest and Slaughter. I've never heard of this book, but I bought it. I think it was at a thrift store. A lot of my books are from thrift stores, to be quite honest. A lot of my books were from thrift stores, or at the beginning when I had book of the month, like a few of them, but most of them are from the thrift store. But yeah, those are my first 2 shelves. Alright, for the next shelf. First I have another 3D printed item, my 3D printed ice cream cone. I just decided to put it up there. This shelf though is more of my mystery and thriller. And a little bit of twisted family, so a lot of psychological stuff, because if you can see, there's VC Andrews here. Sorry if you heard that. But yeah, I love VC Andrews. The books are really good. I've seen the movies on Lifetime. I'm obsessed. So it's very interesting to me. So good. City of Saints and Thieves is another really good one. Oh yeah, this one was really good. I don't know if anybody has read it or heard of it. I haven't seen it. Obviously, I'm just now becoming more a part of like the book community. So I've never seen it on BookTube. I've never seen it on Bookstagram. I'm not part of Book Talk. I don't have a TikTok account. So if you've seen it anywhere, if you've heard of it or read it, drop it in the comments of what your opinion was on it. Put this on back. If I can fit it. There we go. Jesus Christ. But yeah, then I have like The Lion Game, some more with Where, Big Little Lies. I watched the show. The book is really good, if you can see me. Yeah. Just some really good books. Alright, down at the bottom again. So this is more of my like classical books. So I have like The Brief Wondrous Life of Oscar Wilde. It's an amazing book. I loved it. I read it in college. I forgot which class it was for, but I read it in that class and it was really, really good. It made me really sad, but it's so good. I have Song of Solomon, A Tale of Two Cities, a few Jane Austen. I have a Jane Eyre book because obviously classic, but I love me some Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. My favorite book. I have Lord of the Rings. Just to say I have Lord of the Rings. My best friend is obsessed, so I was like, I might as well get the book, right? I have Ophelia. I have Oscar Wilde. It's like a collection one. I have The Color Purple, The Book Thief, The Devil in the White City, Handmaid's Tale. But yeah, just a few of them. Whenever ones I see that I have either read in school. See, here's the thing. In my English classes, they always told us to read the books whenever we were doing, actual reading. I didn't. I don't like being told what to do, so I just kind of got the summary on Spark Notes. So now I can actually read them now, because no one's telling me what to do. Anyway, down at the bottom, I'm going to sit by this one. I have some more of like YA stories and a little bit of a mix because I didn't know where to put them. But first, I have a book called Geist that I got at Half Price Bookstore. It looks interesting enough, so I was like, okay, let me check it out. It's a little different. But my favorite part is Margaret Peterson Haddix, because I loved Among the Hidden as a kid, and when I found the entire freaking collection, the entire set, whatever you want to call it, when I found it, I had to buy it because, oh god, it was so good. It was so good. If you read Among the Hidden, leave a comment, like the video, whatever you want to do. I swear by it. Margaret Peterson Haddix was freaking amazing. the books were a little bit ahead of not ahead of the time, but a little bit more advanced than, for a kid to be reading, but it's still so freaking good. I loved it. I have To Let Them Burn. I haven't finished it yet. I actually have Song of Achilles over here. I don't know where to put it. Does it go with fantasy? I'll leave you all. I'm gonna leave that up to you guys to determine, because I don't know where to put this book. Okay, I have The Ivies by Alexa Dunn. I know it's more of a mystery, but I have no room for my other mysteries anywhere else. But I absolutely love Alexa Dunn, and The Ivies is a really good one. One of Us is Lying. I haven't read it yet. Tonight World, I was obsessed with when I was younger, so I had to buy that one. And there's barely any room on the shelf, so I might have to move that shelf around. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Looking for Alaska, John Green. Some other ones over here that I didn't know exactly where to put. Like All the Ugly and Wonderful Things. I didn't know where to put it. A Million Junes. Yeah, just some different books over here. As you know, it's a little bit chaotic, and then we have a little pop version of Hermione Granger. If these books don't stop falling. Alright, last shelf. I have the DSM-5 because as a psych major, I wanted to buy it. I saw it at the thrift store, and I said to myself, I have to get it. It's literally my profession. So I bought it. I have a book called You Never Say Goodbye. My grandma received this book when she was going through chemo. She never got a chance to read it, so I kept it, and I'm gonna read it for her. Quiet, because I swear people hate introverts. They hate quiet people. So, and if you feel like you're different, that people treat you differently because you're an introvert, because you're not as talkative, read this book. It's very powerful. I actually read the book and I'm like, thank you. Yes, that's exactly how I feel. Yes. It's very insightful. It also helps with parents. Sorry, you guys. With parents of children who are introverted, and just learning more of their approaches to communicating with others, and just how their mind works, and how we are a little bit different versus like the typical extroverted person. I also have I didn't even say what the shelf was. This shelf is mostly like some autobiography, some historical books, some nonfiction works type of thing, because I don't really read nonfiction like that. But I have like Misadventures of Awkward Black Girl, because obviously I am an awkward black girl, so I have to have it. I had to read it. It's so freaking good. 101 Secrets for Your 20s, which is really good to read. I highly recommend this for anyone who has just graduated or anyone who is in their 20s right now, early 20s. These are very helpful, because when I graduated in 2018, I felt like trash. Like absolute trash, mentally, physically, emotionally. Oh god, it was terrible. But these actually help, and were like very insightful, of just like not trying to take yourself too seriously, that everybody's going through the same thing as you. Everyone has a shitty job. Like it's expected, so you're not alone in that. So there's 101 of those. They're all different, but they all have a very similar message of like, you're not alone with going through this and how you feel. Obviously, I have Barack Obama. Duh. I mean, Dreams from My Father. I have The Pact, a book about 3 doctors who made a pact in high school to actually, succeed in life. So they were like, let's do better for ourselves. I actually met them. It was at an event. Not an event. It was one of the summer camps I did. I did a lot of summer camps. And they were there, and they were just talking about their experiences and just what they went through and how they came to be where they are now. I have, obviously, Kings, I Have a Dream, Strength to Love, Born a Crime by Trevor Noah. Highly recommend if you've never read it. Oh my god, so good. Also, it will piss you off at some points because some people are really trash. Brain on Fire, which is about a girl who actually celebrates, I think it's like her 25th birthday? Her 24. She had like just turned 24. And prior to turning 24, she was just a healthy, 20-year-old. Everything's fine. But after she turned 24, it's like literally her brain was on fire. All of the neurons in her brain were so sporadic. She started having seizures like basically every day out of nowhere, which just goes to show our brains are truly just wild. And the fact that we can say that we were created so easily, but yet our entire bodies can change at like that. I don't buy it. So our bodies and our brains are extremely strange, and as much research as we've done, we have not discovered half of what our brains and what our bodies are capable of. It's still wild to me. If you didn't notice, I'm a psych major. I have You're Making Me Hate You. I don't know. I just found it. I thought it was interesting. I have Roll Red Black Girl, some little stories. I have The Deep. Not The Deep as in like The Deep from The Boys, but The Deep River Solomon with the stories from David Higgs, William Hudson, and Jonathan Snipes. So I think this was out for quite a bit. I think it was pretty popular. I don't know. I was reading books like years later. So if you're looking at me like, yeah, girl, we know that book, we read it, it was really popular, I'm like, oh, okay. I'm always behind. Let's just keep that for what it is. I always will be behind when it comes to books. So let's just keep it at that. Their eyes were watching God, Untamed by Glennon Doyle. I listened to the audiobook, and then that's when I realized I already had the physical book. Moving on. Body Positive Power by Megan Jane Crabble. I follow her on Instagram. Her book was not Crab. Her book is really good. I love her on Instagram. Her posts are really sweet and amazing. I have China Room by Sanjeev Sahota, and then I have Imposter Syndrome in the back. I'm not gonna reach out and pull out all these books, but these are just some of the books that I have on my bookshelves. Alright, so I hope you guys liked touring my bookshelves for the books that I have so far. I am donating like 13 more. I'm just not gonna show them. That's a whole separate video. We don't need to worry about those books, actually. Let's just be honest, we don't need to worry about those books. But yeah, if you like this video, be sure to like this video. If you have any books that you're interested in, or if you would like any recommendations, you can drop them in the comments below. Talk about any of the books that I have on my bookshelf, or lack thereof, in certain areas where you're like, oh, you're missing a book. Just let me know. I'll read the summary and I'll probably buy it using my credit card. So until next time, bye.